patrons, it is I, me, Elle. Ian is here with me right now. I'm here to tell y'all a story of how I came into possession of a haunted doll. I guess the story needs to start off with a few weeks ago. I would say about a month ago, actually. Aunt had been contacted by a couple different people saying that we were under attack. I think that I did the border protection spell that you guys saw on my Patreon. That was part of us feeling like that we were being, attacked. With Aunt's work, there has been a lot of people recently who are not happy with him. So we don't really know where it came from yet. Around that time was the Halloween party where I dressed up as a girl haunted by her doll. I can't remember if Aunt had told me that we were under attack before or not. I'm going to insert some pictures of, that time. I needed to find a Halloween outfit, so I went over to Ian's house after really having no success with finding a Halloween outfit at like Spirit Halloween or anything like that. We were in the thrift store for a while. I got a bunch of sweaters. I got a new bedside table, which is over there now, and as we were in the checkout line, I see this doll, and you guys have come to know her as Vanessa. For whatever reason, I was very attracted to the doll. The doll was beautiful, and I loved her from the moment that I saw her, and so I picked her up and I said, she's mine. She was only like $6. Later that day, we go back to Ian's house. I mess up the doll. I put fake blood on her, rip her dress, really kind of mess her up to go with my I'm possessed by a haunted doll Halloween costume. So we go to the party, have a fun time, and then 2 days later, and I will insert pictures here, there was a really, really bad thunderstorm. And our apartment building is very new. It's only a few years old. And I walked out into the living room and there was a big puddle of water in our living room. And I was so confused. I was like, where did this water come from? I don't really understand. And then I realized that our back doors, on the wall, there was wood rot. Like the wall was leaking water. Now this comes to be very important information later on. Right around that time, I started having disgusting, horrible nightmares. Every single night I was having nightmares. I've had nightmares my whole life, but that was more me seeing spirits that were in the places that I was sleeping. These were actually just nightmares. Horrible, disgusting, playing on all of my fears for over a week straight. So I told Aunt about the nightmares. He'd been having a lot of trouble sleeping, and that's when he told me that not just one, not just two, but 3 people had told him that we were under psychic attack. And I had also heard, you're under psychic attack and you need to strengthen your borders. And it was this constant theme of every single person saying, strengthen your borders, something's gotten in, strengthen your borders. I did the border protection spell that you guys saw on the Patreon. And from that moment on, I haven't been sleeping the best, but I didn't have any more nightmares. And so that's where me and Aunt thought that was it. Fast forward to us going to Houston over the weekend. And you guys have seen Vanessa on stream. She's been sitting on my desk right here, or I put her up on my window up there. I noticed that the first night that we were there, Aunt was talking to a woman, and I just assumed that this was a woman who wanted a reading from Aunt, or she had had some experiences that she wanted to talk to Aunt about, because that happens to us a lot. 2 other women pulled me aside, and that ever since moving to this house in the woods, she and her barn, sometimes it feels great, sometimes it doesn't, and it feels like there's something in there that doesn't want her around. So I was giving her some tips on, that there's probably some nature spirits around, that it's their land, and they're probably a little bit upset about that. So if she wanted to make good with the nature spirits, that she could leave out a little offering of friendship to the area. And then the other woman was talking about, that she's had some paranormal experiences. And then she mentioned that her friend, Vanessa, was coming into mediumship abilities. And that her friend, Vanessa, had really wanted to talk to Aunt. That's when I learned that the woman's name was Vanessa that Aunt was talking to for over 2 hours. So later that night we're walking, Vanessa said that she really would like to talk to both of us. She said that there was, a little bit of a dark energy cloud around Aunt. Aunt hadn't told her anything yet. but Elle, there's something more close to you. There's something that you need to deal with. And she says, I'm getting this image, and Aunt hadn't said anything to her, that your borders were penetrated by water. That I'm seeing water seeping in. And I don't know why I'm seeing that. And I look at Aunt and I'm like, did you tell her? He was like, no, I didn't tell her. So I showed her the pictures of literally house, our apartment, water seeping in through our wall, and how I had felt like that was a physical representation of our borders being breached. So at that point, I don't often get to talk to mediums with me and Aunt. You know, we can validate each other, but when there's things that we can't really figure out or we're not getting information on, it is so nice to talk to somebody else who obviously is incredibly powerful in her mediumship abilities. She got that information so quickly. She saw the stickiness around us so quickly. She also was like, y'all need to do something about protecting your borders. And she told me, Elle, you've done a lot, but there's something so simple that you're not thinking of. There's something that you're missing. And she's like, and you really need to try to figure it out, because she's like, it's something that you would not normally think. It's something that you have completely glossed over, that is not on your mind at all. And it's something that she just kept saying over and over again, it's something that you wouldn't normally think that you needed to do. It's something that you're not paying attention to. Well, what the hell is this? I don't understand. I was at a loss for words. I had been feeling like that the border protection spell that I did was powerful and that it really, really did help. But I felt like that there was something that had slipped through that I had not dealt with, and I didn't know what to do about it. In the hotel room, we talked till like 2 a.m. And that was basically the gist of what we were told by Vanessa. Not making any connections in our brain. Me and Aunt go home 2 days ago. Me and Aunt, we were talking about something in my room, and Aunt looks up and he sees Vanessa the doll sitting on my window, and he said, why am I getting icky energy from her? What do you mean? I love Vanessa. She's great. And he was just like, oh, no. And I was just like, wait, Vanessa. And Aunt went, didn't Vanessa say you had overlooked that it was something that we would figure it out, we would know? And he was like, it's the doll. I had felt like Vanessa was more than a doll, especially that I had been drawn to her. Even Ian at the time had been like, that doll's haunted. No, it's fine. Just a little bit of a lesson on why a lot of dolls end up being haunted is there are things called thought entities or thought spirits. Person puts enough energy into a non-person item, like children with dolls, how they talk to their dolls, how they're always holding their dolls. Dolls become people in their brains. That's how a lot of dolls become haunted. They start to take on characteristics and they gain enough energy that they can become more than a doll. Oh, well, she probably has some spirit, probably got a little something extra. And I've been holding Vanessa on stream. I really liked this doll, but I was like chilling with Vanessa. Aunt was like, you should text Vanessa, the woman Vanessa, not the doll Vanessa. Hey, a medium question real quick. Do you think that there's anything in my space, maybe object or something that could be what you were talking about, what you were feeling? And she responded with, it's a little difficult for me to pinpoint when I'm not there, but what are you thinking? Are you thinking like a possessed object or something? And I was just like, well, can you tell me anything about it? I feel like it might be along those lines. And she said, okay, I'm getting a visual. It's something white or cream or even maybe gray. And I was just like, and then I sent her a picture of Vanessa. That's it. Get rid of it. Get rid of that now. And so I told Aunt, and we were just like, oh crap, like, are you kidding me? It's one of those things that from that moment I had felt before that she was more than a doll. I don't know, it just felt like this is the missing piece. Tonight, and I'm going to insert some pictures of the binding spell that I did a pentagram. I put the moon cycle symbols around it. I put the element symbols, spirit, fire, water, earth, and air around it, and I did a binding sigil in the middle of the pentagram to bind the energy into the doll. I then symbolically and physically wrapped the doll with cord over and over and over again, binding the pentagram, binding spell sigil around her, sealing her. And then I took salt, dragon's blood, wood betony, and angelica root. Angelica root is one of the strongest protection herbs there are. It is considered sacred and directly comes comes from Archangel Michael. Wood betony is a border protection herb. It is also used for binding spirits. Dragon's blood is used for exorcism, expelling negative energy, keeping it away. And then salt, of course, is a binding, border, grounding mineral. And I put that in a jar, and then I wrapped the jar, bound the jar with candle wax, bound the jar to the sigil, to the binding spell, to the doll, wrapped it again, sealed it in wax. And we were going to go bury her in the woods. Aunt had been on the phone with his cousin, who is a medium, and she has been practicing her mediumship abilities for over 12 years. And Aunt had asked her about it, and she said, don't bury it, don't burn it. If it's anything that's stronger than a negative spirit, it's just gonna come back. If it's just a negative spirit or some negative energies that is attached to this doll that is influencing Elle and influencing you, then you just need to throw it away. Put it in a box and threw it away. That's kind of my experience with Vanessa. I figured that this would be something really cool for you guys to see. As you can see, I'm very exhausted, I'm tired, I still feel nauseous, and my head hurts from doing all of that. But I figured it was a pretty cool story for you guys to hear. Also, I just really want to share all of these kinds of things that happen as kind of my own video journal, but then also for you guys, if you experiencing anything like this or you just like to hear about these kinds of things. I was haunted by a doll, and now she's gone. See you later.